Good morning. Didn't want to do this, but I've got to do this. City lost 2-0 to United yesterday. I'm still in pain, still in immense amounts of pain. First thing I did today when I woke up was think about United and Man City, and it absolutely stings. I can't deny that derby's hit differently, unfortunately. But today, I've got to face up to the music and go through 5 things that we learned from that derby. Before I do that, though, if you want to put a smile on this little sad face, go and download OneFootball in the link in the description below. It's a damn sight better than Manchester City's performance yesterday. I can promise you that. It's fantastic. It helps support my channel. And if you still want to look at that glorious Premier League table, and despite the results, he's 11 points clear and revel in all those wonderful stats, that is the home. Hopefully as well, it'll be the first place that you'll see a notification that Manchester City have dreamed up a beautiful transfer for Erling Haaland. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? So go download OneFootball right now if you want to stay ahead of the game and get all the football news sent straight to your phone. And also, once again, it helps cheer me up. And right now, I definitely need to be cheered up. So download it in the link in the description for absolutely £0, 0 pence to join over 10 million people in having OneFootball on their phone. It's fantastic, I promise you. And also, I want to say thank you to Danny Stuland. Daniel, you're an absolute top lad. Thank you so much for becoming my latest patron, patreon.com/Esteemed Company, if you want to help support the channel a little bit. Danny's got access to the Slack group and the bonus videos as well. So there'll be player ratings videos and all that kind of stuff in there. Danny, welcome to the Slack group, and hopefully you enjoy the bonus content. Big love to you, mate. Patreon.com/Esteemed Company if you want to help support the channel a little bit. If not, don't worry. Just make sure to hit that like button, get down in the comments below, and of course, hit the subscribe button. Right. Right, let's go into this. I'm going to start initially with perspective, because I feel like a healthy dose of perspective is always a good way to start. I'm not downplaying the loss. The loss stung. I'm not saying you're wrong to be upset or anything like that. I'm not. Rant away. Always get it off your chest if it's bugging you. And I have to read all the comments, and I'll see all your negativity, and I'll take it all in. And like the soundboard that I am, and I'm not complaining, I'll take it. But what I'll always say is it's very easy to say things in hindsight. You know, in Tehran, we should have done this. We should have done that. This person's not right. We do this all the time. And be honest with yourself as well. How many times have you sat and moaned about a lineup and then we went and won anyway? I see it every single time. I read the comments, so I know it's a sizable majority of people who go, why didn't we start Foden? Or why are we starting Mahrez? Or why are we starting? I see it every single time the lineup comes out. There's always people arguing over the lineup. And then what went and happened? We won 21 games in a row. The point I'm making here, it's very easy to sit here and say, we got it right, I know more, after a loss. But how often are we actually wrong after we go out and win? We do it all the time. We turn around and go, those players should have been starting. And every single time the City win, of course we don't bring it back up and go, I was wrong, by the way. I was wrong. We don't do that because we're humans and we have inherent cynicism and arrogance about our own beliefs. So what I would say is it's very easy to turn around and go afterwards, in hindsight, they were wrong. They should have been doing this and all that kind of stuff. But be honest with yourself. How often do we say these things and it doesn't matter? The point I'm making is only human, and occasionally we will seemingly get it wrong. But it's very easy to turn around and say that in hindsight. Perspective is definitely needed. We have just won 21 games in a row. We have done something incredible, 28 unbeaten. A genuinely astonishing run in a horrible time to be a human being in this country. Never mind just be playing sport every single day. No fans there, a boring, soulless existence. Living under lockdown. These aren't excuses, these are just realities. But to still have that consistency for so long, wonderful. Of course it hurts that it was United, but still it was inevitable. Unfortunately, that as inevitable as Manchester City are, we are inevitably going to drop points at some point. I mean, we do it all the time. So what I'm saying is, if we can turn around and moan about Kevin De Bruyne, but he's Kevin De Bruyne. He's Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, if he hadn't started yesterday and we'd lost, people would have gone, yeah, but why are we not playing Kevin De Bruyne? Because United can't really defend crosses and corners that well, and KDB can whip in good balls or whatever, and why aren't we doing that? You know it would happen. Don't deny it. That would have happened. So if City hadn't played Kevin De Bruyne and lost, we would have said, how did we leave out the best midfielder in the world? The point I'm making is you can't win when you lose sometimes. Genuinely, you'll find a reason as a person, and we do it and I do it, find a reason to work around, well, he got it wrong and I was always right. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is let's have a bit of humility about this and some perspective. It's difficult and it's painful, but let's not pretend things are worse than they are. We are still probably going to win the league. 11 points clear. Things look very, very good. It just hurts because it was a derby. Secondly, I did actually think the players, once again, in hindsight, looked a little bit leggy yesterday. I'm not sure how much that was just their confidence being knocked because once you concede a goal that early on, your game plan can kind of go out the window. It becomes very difficult to adapt after you've just conceded an early goal, you know. And the players did look a little bit tired yesterday. Now, we have played an awful lot of football. Maybe it was the weight of expectation. Maybe it was the fact that some players are genuinely a bit tired, which is one thing I want to raise, by the way, about Bernardo and this kind of stuff. And we'll get onto it in a minute. No, I'll get on to the next point. But basically, I thought the players yesterday looked a little bit like they were running on empty. And it could just be that finally, after all this winning streak, we went behind for the first time in ages, absolutely ages. It could have been like the players just didn't know how to respond because mentally they'd reached their tipping point and eventually something was going to crack. They were brilliant, but there's so much pressure you can force on something before eventually it's like I can't do it anymore. And it feels like yesterday that's what happened to Manchester City because for me, I saw many players yesterday who had a bad day, like genuinely many players. I mean, players that have been excellent this season, you know. Gundogan was quiet, and we can get onto the balance maybe in a bit, but Gundogan was quiet. Cancelo, I thought, had a pretty poor game. I mean, even Stones and Diaz weren't like the powerful, commanding partnership that they've always has been, you know. I think Stones had a better game than Diaz, I think, but they weren't like perfect, you know. And then Rodri was a little bit all over the place, and he's been in good form recently. KDB had a shocker, we know that. Sterling, Jesus, Mahrez, hardly anything that anyone tried really came off to the same extent. So I wonder if the tiredness, how we looked yesterday was just down to circumstance or down to the fact that some players are tired. But either way, I think it's fair to say that yesterday we just weren't at the races to the same extent. Even though we created multiple chances and probably should have done something, it didn't feel like, it felt to me like a tipping point had been reached, and the mental pressure of this game had kind of tipped it over the edge. Thirdly, Bernardo. The importance of Bernardo. Now, I'm not saying we were wrong definitively to not start Bernardo. I would have loved to see him start. He's the one I wanted to start, and I think most City fans would have argued before the game that he should start. But I do think yesterday we probably saw the importance of Bernardo based on the previous point. Now, what I'm going to say is, I thought we looked a little bit leggy yesterday, and the one thing that Bernardo guarantees you is intense energy and intense desire. Not to say the other players didn't try, but more Bernardo's level of trying is pretty much up there in the highest echelons of football. Genuinely, his work rate is absolutely astonishing. And a little bit of spark in a game that should have been fierce and feisty from someone like Bernardo probably would have gone a long way. And I feel, unfortunately, and once again, hindsight is easy. I'm aware I'm doing it too, but I do feel, unfortunately, Bernardo probably was the wrong call. Having said that, I say it was the wrong call. We hadn't conceded a penalty inside 30 seconds from a silly mistake from over-eagerness. We probably would have strolled the game. That's the crazy thing about it. But either way, Bernardo, I feel like genuinely we have to find a way at the moment to get him in the side because we're just better with Bernardo on the side. It feels that way because Bernardo's brilliant. But we can all go around and create these mental gymnastics and find reasons why other players should be in the side too, always. You know, it's very easy to do that. But Bernardo, I do actually think his importance was highlighted yesterday in a game of this magnitude. Bernardo's willingness to run gives you that extra little bit of bite in a game like this. That's one thing we can't really deny. Bernardo, a very important player. And is there question marks about the balance currently of Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan and Rodri compared to when Bernardo's in the team? Possibly, it's not an unfair question. Maybe it should have been a false nine with De Bruyne there. Who knows? Either way, you don't really... What I will say is people acting like De Bruyne should just be benched. But I mean, he's Kevin De Bruyne. How fickle can we be? We act like we all weren't saying he was the best player in the league and not one of the best in the world a few months ago. We're very fickle as football fans. You can't win sometimes. You don't play Kevin De Bruyne and you've got your star player very unhappy potentially, or you've got him not fit and ready for the latter stages of the Champions League, you know, and you do play him and then something like this happens. It's just difficult. It's very, very difficult. Anyway, on to the next point. Tongue-in-cheek title, Haaland, please. Now, this isn't just because I think we need Haaland, and even though I do want Haaland, of course, because Sergio Aguero, we'll get onto Aguero in a second, actually, Jesus, whatever, missed chances, but it's more a reaction to Manchester City missing chances. Like yesterday, once again, the thing that frustrated me was that when the book was down and City were behind a little bit, it reminds me a little bit of the Lyon game where things aren't going perfectly for us and we miss a big chance. I mean, Sterling unfortunately missed an absolute sitter. I love you, Raheem, but please stop doing that. Then he missed a good header. And then Jesus faffed around in front of the goal a little bit. And City yesterday needed someone with a ruthless streak. And then one thing we probably don't have in this team, especially given the fact that Aguero's days are looking to be, unfortunately, creeping towards an end, we don't have a bastard. You know, someone who's genuinely going to do something brilliant out of nowhere. Like a genuine mean winner of a player, a robot. And KDB has that to an extent, but in front of goal, we don't have that at all these days. We don't have that at all. I mean, Haaland is a beast on a different level, and 101 is someone who absolutely is obsessed with goals, someone who is obsessed with scoring goals, because I feel like at certain games, you need that a little bit extra. We've got more than enough to win most games, and I'm not too concerned about our ability to score goals overall, because we do win most games, and we've been, I guess the winning streak proved that. But what I'm saying is that sometimes you do need just someone who's not going to miss a tapping. Some players kind of feed on those kind of chances, and that's Haaland's that kind of player. So hopefully, I want Haaland, man. I want someone who's ruthless, basically. And I don't think that's not a reaction to this game. It's just a problem Man City have had for a while. And given that Aguero, unfortunately, may be coming down at the end of his days, it seems more and more likely. On to Aguero quickly. And I do wonder why I didn't bring him on yesterday, but if Aguero's not involved and Aguero is clinical and we need to miss chances, you start to read between the lines. I do wonder if there's still question marks about sharpness in training and all that kind of stuff. I don't know the answer. And once again, I will say with these things, when it comes down to selection issues, we don't see the players in training every single day. We don't see what Guardiola sees every single day. We don't know what the physio's saying. We don't know what the players are saying. We don't know how they're reacting to these things. So I can never 100% say anything like this player should be involved, because I don't know. It's not as easy as your fantasy Premier League, fantasy league, where you just sub a player in and out and go, oh, he'll be all right. Or it's not as easy as Champman or Football Manager or FIFA or whatever. Show my age there with the Champman thing. It's not as easy just to say, oh, they'll play and they'll be fine, because they are people with lives and they're in training every single day, and Guardiola has to keep all these egos happy. So maybe there's some deeper reason why Aguero's not playing at the moment. Either way, Haaland, please. And finally, typical City. Is there something slightly reassuring to know that it will always be a thing, that Manchester City will always be little old Man City who will make these silly little kind of mess ups in the stories like this? I said a billion times on my videos, if you've been watching it, that football loves a story, and if we were going to lose a game, I even said I wouldn't be surprised if we lost to United at the end of this winning streak, because football loves a story, and typical City is inherently part of us. We can't shake it, unfortunately. We will win trophies, but we will still do things like yesterday. Lose a derby after being astonishing. That is what football kind of is about, though, unfortunately. It's kind of reassuring to know that comical side of Manchester City is still there and we haven't lost that side of us. But typical City is alive and well, and it's something that we just have to accept, because it ain't going away anywhere, despite what me or you wanted to do. Guys, thanks for watching this video. I'm rushing now because my camera's going flat. Thank you to all the patrons and my Patreon producer, Ahmed Al-Ali. You're all absolutely awesome. It was painful yesterday, but we will get over it. I promise you. Big love to my latest patron, Dennis Juland. Thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Go and distract yourself. Football will be fine, and we're going to win the league.